A billion stars hang over an ancient land.
Their silent light has witnessed countless triumphs and countless falls. Dynasties rise like flames, shine bright, and fade. In China, this rhythm of ascent and collapse was more than chance. It was understood as the will of heaven itself. 3,000 years ago, the Zhou gave this belief a name, the mandate of heaven. A ruler did not own the throne forever.
He held it only as long as he ruled with virtue.
When arrogance or cruelty took root, heaven would withdraw its favor.
And the empire would slide toward rebellion and ruin.
This simple, daring idea became the engine of Chinese history, shaping the fate of every dynasty that followed.
Centuries later, the Han Dynasty rose upon that very mandate.
The Han inherited a land weary from Qin tyranny. They promised a gentler order, taxes lowered, harsh laws eased, fields replanted.
Caravans once again threaded the Silk Road. Scholars filled imperial academies. The population swelled.
In Chang'an, artisans cast bronze mirrors, polished like rivers of moonlight. It seemed heaven smiled. But slowly, the harmony cracked. Court factions whispered in back corridors. Wealth pooled in a few powerful families. Peasants, pressed by taxes and drought, joined secret societies.
At last, the yellow turban rebels rose, their banners proclaiming that heaven had chosen a new age.
By the 3rd century, the great Han had fallen, just as the doctrine foretold. Time turned, and from that chaos emerged the Tang dynasty. Poets called it a golden age. Silk robes and foreign spices crowded the markets of Chang'an.
Music from Persia mingled with the fragrance of tea.
Tang emperors sponsored great libraries and glittering Holy fates and glittering Buddhist temples. The empire stretched from the Pacific to Central Asia. But as splendor grew, discipline thinned. Frontier generals gained private armies. Palace life swelled with intrigue. Then came the An Lushan Rebellion, a civil war so vast it darkened the world's economy. Millions died, the tax base shattered, and the capital burned. Once again, people said heaven had shifted its favor. Next came the Ming dynasty, a story of daring beginnings. Ming rulers rebuilt walls, repaired canals, and sent Admiral Zhang He's vast treasure fleets across the Indian Ocean. Porcelain kilns glowed blue-white, and printing houses spread books to every province. The early Ming felt invincible. Yet inside the Forbidden City, eunuch factions grew powerful. Emperors withdrew from daily duties. Silver inflation rattled the economy. When floods and plagues struck, peasant armies marched on Beijing. The last Ming emperor hanged himself on a lonely hill, while rebels claimed heaven had passed its mandate.
Finally came the Qing dynasty, founded by outsiders from Manchuria who mastered Chinese statecraft.
They expanded borders farther than any before, from Tibet to the Pacific. Culture flourished in painting and opera. But the same pattern unfolded: unchecked population growth and strained food supplies. Corrupt officials sold offices.
Western gunboats pressed at the coasts.
By the early 20th century, the Qing too had lost heaven's trust.
Revolution ended more than 2 millennia of imperial rule.
Across 2,000 years, the pattern repeat. Virtue brings order, excess brings ruin.
This was no simple superstition. It acted like a constitutional principle written in the sky.
Peasants who suffered famine could see themselves as agents of cosmic justice.
Rebels who toppled a dynasty were not criminals. They were heaven's instruments. Imagine the voices of those centuries. A Han farmer, after years of tax and flood,
Joining the yellow turbans with a silent prayer. If heaven wills it, we will succeed.
a Tang official writing by lamplight as rebels near the city. The mandate is lost. May the next rulers be just.
A Ming scholar hiding books from marauding troops. Heaven warns those who forget the people. Their words echo like soft bells across time. This belief also forced emperors to look inward. Each spring, they performed rites of self-examination. They plowed ceremonial furrows, symbolically sharing the labor of farmers. Edicts of remonstrance invited ministers to speak hard truths. The mandate of heaven was a mirror in which rulers saw their own morality, or lack of it.
Scene by scene, the story widens. Fields of ripening grain under gentle sun. City gates opening at dawn to merchants with silk and tea. City gates opening at dawn to merchants with silk and tea.
Courts, where poems are recited and law codes debated.
Then, gradually, storm clouds, tax ledgers heavy with red ink, empty granaries, secret meetings in dark halls.
The rhythm of rise and decline beats beneath every dynasty.
Yet this is not merely a tale of endings. Each collapse prepared a new beginning.
From Han ruins, the Tang found their mandate. From Ming despair, the Qing gathered strength. People believed that when virtue returned, heaven would once again bestow its blessing.
It was history as moral drama, a long dialogue between earth and sky.
As night settles over imperial China, the camera drifts upward. Palace lights scatter like fireflies. Rivers of starlight cross the heavens. In China, power was never only human. It was a covenant between virtue and the cosmos.
When rulers kept that covenant, the world was renewed. When they betrayed it, the stars themselves decreed their fall. The music softens to a single note. Stars shine sharper, cold, and eternal. Yet the story of the mandate is more than a gallery of fallen thrones. It is also a testament to renewal. Each dynasty, at its dawn, drew lessons from the ruin that came before.
The Han rebuilt roads and canals the Qin had neglected. The Tang revived Confucian learning after centuries of turmoil.
The Ming reforested valleys scarred by Mongol wars.
The Qing stitched a multi-ethnic empire together with new compromises. Every time, people believed that heaven's favor could be regained through virtue and care.
Consider the long memory of ordinary families.
In a village of the Yellow River Plain, grandparents told stories of floods and famine, and of rulers who once fed the hungry.
In a Sichuan tea house, merchants recalled how tax relief after a rebellion let their great-grandfathers rebuild.
These memories were not merely nostalgia.
They were proof that heaven rewarded just governance, and that ordinary people could demand it.
Even nature itself seemed to echo the cycle.
Astronomers tracked comets and eclipses, reading them as cosmic editorials on human morality. An unexpected earthquake could shake a capital and a government alike.
Records show how ministers trembled when a single red star blazed across the night sky.
To them, politics and the cosmos were one vast conversation.
The mandate of heaven also set China apart.
Elsewhere, kings claimed divine right for eternity.
Here, heaven's blessing was conditional.
A farmer could rise in rebellion and still believe he served a higher order.
A victorious general could present himself not as a usurper, but as heaven's chosen renewal.
This belief bound rebellion and legitimacy in a single frame. Slowly, the camera glides across millennia of landscapes. Desert walls built and rebuilt, rice terraces carved and recarved, rivers shifting course yet always flowing toward the sea.
Empires pass, but the land remembers. Finally, the narration returns to the eternal night sky. Constellations wheel overhead, patient and changeless. The mandate of heaven is the oldest political idea still alive. It tells us that no power is final, that every ruler is only a steward of justice. Across 2,000 years, the lesson repeats. When virtue fades, so does heaven's favor.
When virtue returns, the world begins anew.
A deep bell tolls in the distance, the same sound that has marked triumphs and collapses since the Zhou. Its echo fades into silence. This is Season 3, Episode 1 of Thrones Beyond Time, The Mandate of Heaven, The Eternal Cycle. The opening of a season that will follow history's great wheel as it turns again and again.